This is Norman Kissinger from Redeeming the Time Brothers Ministries, and it is good to be with you all. I wanted to talk for a few minutes this afternoon, about a phenomenon that my brother and I both have talked about here about prayer, and that is that I was praying over some issues and getting pretty intense in prayer. I think two scriptural principles of prayer are intensity and persistence, and there's other principles that come into prayer, but I was getting pretty intense about some things that I was asking the Lord what he would have me to do and what direction to take, because it was, most of our prayers are always serious to us. And so one of the things I noticed, I was telling my brother Gene, was that over the years as I've prayed, I've noticed that when I pray for some subject, and I find that almost always, rather than getting an answer to prayer quickly on that subject, most of the time, I would say at least 90% of the time or more, the Lord will begin to reveal things that have nothing to do with the subject. Maybe sins of the heart, maybe other things he wants to remind me of, maybe things he wants me to change and directions he wants me to change in my life that have nothing to do with what I'm praying about and what I'm earnestly seeking him for. And when I'm praying for others, sometimes that happens. And so that just reminded me again that having happened this week, where he was showing me some things that adjusting my prayers and adjusting me as I was praying earnestly about these things, that anybody out there who's new to prayer or has not prayed a lot may get discouraged thinking that God is not going to answer. But God is answering our prayers, because he's adjusting our life so that we are ready for the answer that he needs to give us, so that we can be moved in the direction he wants us to go. And so be prepared that if you pray, you may discover that God is going to do a whole lot of changing of you before he does a whole lot of changing of the circumstances that you're asking him to change, whether it's relationships with others or jobs or circumstances or things that we may need that we're praying for, physical things we need, whatever it is. Be ready that the Lord is going to move you around as he is moving other situations around, because he's going to take that opportunity of your attention in order to get you moved in a spiritual place to where he wants you to be, so that you can be the most blessed and used most effectively for the kingdom. And that I've been reminded of that over and over again over the years as I have prayed prayers and asked God for help in different areas, how that almost so often he goes back to talk about me and not about the subject. And that can be frustrating, but the reality is that if we are going to be in God's will, we want to know his will, we want to align with his will, then his will is for his will to be done in my life, not my will to be done in my life. And God knows what's best. So sometimes we don't know what to pray. We can be praying biblical ideas, but God does know what's best for our loved ones if we're praying for them, and for people that we care about, and for situations. And we don't know, because we don't have all knowledge, but he certainly does. So as you go through the journey of prayer, just be prepared for that. If that hasn't happened to you, probably every older believer watching this would say a hearty amen to that God will do a change in our life before he does a change in our circumstances or other people's lives. Follow the process. Don't be afraid to move forward. Don't be discouraged. Let God do his work in us so that he can do his work in others. This is Norm Kissinger from Redeeming the Time Brothers Ministries. Be sure to watch my brother's podcast. Be sure to watch our videos that we put up. We try to put up a variety of stuff. And Gene's daily devotions, but also sermons and other stuff we put up there. We're trying to be creative at what we put up. So we hope it'll be a blessing and a help to you, especially for those who are in ministry or who have either as pastors or as church workers, but mature saints that are trying to minister for the Lord, that it would be a blessing to you. God bless you. You just have a great and wonderful end of May.